Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be looking at two separate products from Mega Construx in their Destiny line. On the left is the Lord Saladin Arsenal set, and on the right is the Zur Arsenal set. As is always the case for these things, for some very lucky people in some very small, very specific regions, these things I'm sure have been available at the local corner store for like 2 months. But that doesn't help the vast majority of fans out there who have to rely on eBay and other aftermarket sources to get these cool sets. Anyway, let's take a look at them. First, let's look at the Lord Saladin Arsenal set that comes with Saladin himself with helmet on, a comically oversized but openable legendary engram, and one Fellwinter Peak wolf. Behind all that is the exclusive kind of minimalistic kiosk surround with the exclusive Iron Lord's print on it, and also kind of a translucent copper color, and it has nice printing on it, but a lot of it is, or at least some of the good stuff is by default kind of hidden behind there. The three weapons are, on the upper left, the LMG is Bretomart's Stand, on the upper right is Wayloran's March, the sniper rifle, and then the fusion rifle is Ashraven's Flight. I never equipped any of those personally, though I did play in Iron Banner during these times, but I think that Mega has chosen to include all of these here because of the color scheme. It just goes really well with this set. Really cool looking things. Nice to have. My favorite of the three here as model pieces is the fusion rifle, which has a nice little wolf emblem on the side in addition to the paint applications. This is an exclusive new variation of Lord Saladin. It's not just a reboxing of the one from the Comic-Con exclusive, because specifically this is a Destiny 1 Year 3 Lord Saladin. So he's got the cloak on the back, which is full length rather than a mark, and he also does not have printing on the back of his torso or his main body armor, his chest armor, like the other one did, because it's all covered up back here by that cloak. And I think that's cool. You know, some of the pieces are the same, with the same printing being used for the shoulder armor, also the main chest armor on the front, and the helmet. All that appears to me to be the same. You may see some variation, but I don't think it's intended. But also the legs are supposed to be the same print. Maybe there's a slight difference in color. This looks a little bit lighter, a little bit more champagne, but again, I don't know if that was intentional. But you do get the cloak instead of the mark, and you get the very, very nice, in my opinion, pretty perfect iron battle axe. That was a really cool weapon. It was nice to be able to, to find it out in the field every once in a while, and I hope they bring that back for some kind of use in Destiny 2, because it's just a really cool construct and a really fun thing to be able to use. I think Mega has done a great job of capturing the flames on there and a little bit of movement with it, and it's good that you can wield it with two hands with the figure or with just one. The Iron Wolf, if you will, is based on the same basic design as they used for Riley for Call of Duty, but this does have some different pieces, to make it specific to the wolf. You can kind of see this as a husky if you want. I think that the snout is a little bit on the short side for a wolf, but that's okay. I'm okay with this. I like the application of the fade, and I think that's just a purely mass-produced process there. I don't know if it's done by hand at all, but I think it looks pretty decent from some distance. And this has all the same articulation as Riley did, with the legs being able to move forward and back independently, so you can get it into more of an action sort of pose. Sorry, it's a little bit difficult to do this with one hand, but you get the general idea. And then the head is on a ball joint, so it's able to rotate around. You can get some of those kind of curious sort of looks, and you can also bring the tail all the way up. Get that up pretty high as well. So, it has everything that you would expect from these if you're familiar with them before. And it, again, has a hole on the top. So if you have any accessories that could fit into there, if you have anything bar-shaped you want to do custom to attach something to the back of this, you could. The oversized engram is a set of molds that they came up with just to provide kind of the experience of opening an engram and getting a physical item out of it. So by default, they would ship the fusion rifle inside of this, and then you just open it up yourself. It just hinges at one side and kind of cracks open. Look at this, you can open it all the way. Looks extra cool like that, actually, having just the way that it separates out. And it has, you know, a bar-sized hole on the base, bar-sized holes for the hollow studs on the top. It has anti-studs on the underside and studs on the top. So, you know, you can attach it in different ways if you want. But it has, I think, kind of limited value, actually, just because of its size. You know, if they were able to sell enough of these Destiny products to offer up something like this as a blind bag item, where you could get different rarities of actual items to go with your figures, that would be really cool. But as it is here, it really doesn't provide that much value. I guess it ends up being a cool thing to display just on its own, but it doesn't scale with any of your mega stuff. So that was one complete product, and now let's look at the Zur arsenal, which does come with that guardian figure. Instead of a wolf, I think that you get a lot better value with this one, given that you do get a second whole figure, and it's a pretty good looking figure at that. This is a hunter with the polar oak shader, a real classic. They got some of the more metallic bits in it with some of the camo. All sorts of paint applications on this one. Comes with Invective, that's the shotgun there, but all sorts of paint applications done in different ways too, and with slightly different levels of quality or success of application. Like that there on the arm, that is so crisp, the green part. That's perfect, absolutely perfect. The silver band on the shoulder armor piece there is also pretty nice. That's a paint application. The paint application on the body armor on the front is a little bit inconsistent around the edges and from top to bottom, but then you get those horizontal stripes in there that are applied the exact same way. They're stamped the exact same way as the green over here on the arm, and also the green on the leg that you can see there, the figure's right leg, left side of your screen, and then also for the shoulder armor over here. That's all the same technique used, and those work out great. Just varies depending upon the shape of the item and the material used, exactly what type of technique they need to use in production. Coming around to the back, well, that looks good. I could not ask for anything better than that for printing or paint application on the soft, flexible material, to get that to line up and to stay in one place to take a stamp like that. That's really good. So I'm happy with that. Yeah, it's just one of the nicer looking hunters in my opinion overall. From any kind of reasonable distance, you can still see a little bit of the blemishes on the top of the body armor there, the chest armor, but it's not bad. Overall, this is a good looking figure. The kiosk backdrop for Zur is, again, exclusive for this specific set, and it has some of the markings of the 9 on the back. Again, partially covered up by one of the weapons in the default position. You can always just put those somewhere else. But here they have the default views and default ornaments for, skins for Monte Carlo on the right, and the one on the left is Zalo or Zalo or Jalo or however you choose to pronounce it. I don't care. They're all right. If you ask me, we all know what weapon we're talking about. Supercell there, and that was used quite a lot. Anytime Arcburn was active on a heroic strike or anything, those were used constantly. But 2 memorable weapons, so good to get. And then here's Zur himself. All right, finally in the flesh of sorts. You get basically 2 colors of black or very, very dark gray, 2 major ones on there. You can kind of see 3 or more depending upon how you look at it, but it kind of varies by material for the most part. He's mostly just a very dark gray, and I think he looks pretty good. It's nice to see a little bit of the glossiness on there, a little bit of the matte or satin color. He's got his backpack, of course, a great stamp placed onto his robe, I guess. Yeah, and a little paint application for his armband there. Bond also has a print on it, and yeah, comes with the exotic engram. Now that is scaled, obviously, properly to figure, or at least very, very close to it, and it's great to finally get the exotic one. I think it made sense to save it for Azure. It would have been nice to get it sooner. You know, we got the lower, the less rare versions of engrams before, and I think they're nice collectibles and nice for displays. He has kind of a shemagh here. If I pull that up, you can see just how the head itself really looks beneath. And, you know, they couldn't get that to be too sharp with all the little feathery bits, but I think it looks pretty good. Again, from a reasonable distance. Up this close, you can really see how stubby each of those protrusions is, but in real life, I think they did a really good job of approximating the look of this dude. And yeah, looking forward to having him on display and just keeping him for the collection, you know, for the collectability. And I'm glad they also included that one piece to allow you to put an engram in his hand. So anything that the 9 do not want, he can actually hand over. And then last but not least, here is the exotic oversized engram that comes with the Zur Arsenal set. And this one actually has something in it that I'm not showing you up to this point because it's not a weapon. It's actually a little reveal. I think they didn't actually market this at all with the set. So if you didn't see the pictures in advance of how that was going to turn out, then you wouldn't have seen that it's the crest of Alpha Lupi, or Lupi as many of us pronounce it, whichever you choose. Again, it doesn't matter. We know what product we're talking about here, what item we're talking about here, and that is from Destiny 1. So I changed it for Destiny 2, but it's a nicer looking one. Let me go ahead and put that on that hunter. So they did not take the easiest route with this. They actually went with the silver base color and then additionally added a lighter silver paint application on top of that, and also followed up with the gold. So, you know, you get a little bit more depth that way. It would have been nice to get something darker in this as well, but I don't know how they could have pulled that off without making it look a little bit too dim or dingy. I think it's pretty good, and I think that a lot of hunter fans will appreciate being able to get that. Got some molding on the back of it as well that looks pretty appropriate. So yeah, it's a good thing to be able to get from them. But when you think about it, we're talking about stuff from 2014. It's a little out of date. No, it's a lot out of date. Fortunately, you know, Saladin, it was at least a year 3 Destiny 1 thing. But you know, some of the stuff here is getting a little long in the tooth. After spending more time with these two sets, I feel more than ever that you get a better value with the Zur Arsenal. I'm not a hunter player, but that hunter is good. Zur himself remains relevant to this day. The exotic little engram is really nice. The weapons are memorable. It's good stuff, but Saladin himself is also great to get, and I love the axe, even if it's not currently relevant. Who knows, maybe eventually it will become relevant again. And the weapons look good. You know, you don't have to look at the weapons as being the specific items they were. You can just see them as their respective classes with, you know, in today's world, just some gold shaders on there. So certainly neither of these is bad. They just have their respective strengths and weaknesses. The biggest weakness being the fact that, again, they're not very easy to get. So a lot of people who want these continue to wait for them to become available somewhere, you know, that they can actually buy them, other than having to pay aftermarket prices from private sellers on eBay. Anyway, continues to be a problem, but I continue to bring reviews to you when I can, and I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I hope that I showed you everything that's here in a way that will help you to make your own decision on whether you want to buy these. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.